Yeah, hey everyone, it's me, Romie. So this is the review for The Haves and the Have-Nots, season, 4 or season 5, episode 3. And so yeah, let's get right into this. So the episode actually starts off with, it starts off with where it left off, which is Quincy is alive. Quincy is alive. It's not some weird dream sequence. He's alive. We're all like, why? Because we were rooting for Candice. We were rooting for Jeffrey. He was finally dead. Is what we all thought. But that's not the case. So, and he's basically like, Candy, please. Candice, please. Help me. Help me. And Candice is, of course, like, so, you beat me, told me my child was dead, broke my jaw, dragged me and pinned me out to all of your friends, and you want me to save you? Okay. Psych! So, yeah, after that we get to this weird scene that we saw from the previews where the officer that arrested Jeffrey is... It's weird because clearly he's trying to proposition Jeffrey without doing so, trying to get Jeffrey to play along, and Jeffrey's just like, what? He's like, oh, so you're gay. It's like, so you like men? It's like, I'm disgusted with you. I'm disgusted with you. It's like, I see you looking at me. As he's groping Jeffrey, he's like, I see you looking at me and what you're thinking. And so he goes and puts Jeffrey back in the car, and then it's like, he goes around the car, sits in the back seat with Jeffrey. Side note, I didn't know that the doors are just, because it's on the outside, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think he actually closed the door. I thought on police cars, in the cruisers in the back, you couldn't open the door yourself. So, there's something. I don't know if Tyler Perry missed that, but it's just like, oh god, why? And he's just, it's getting worse. It's like, I see those lips. Yeah, I know what you do with those lips. I'm like, what? Like, is this really happening? And Jeffrey's just like, no. Because remember, he's still partially drunk as well. And this is Jeffrey's a little bitch. So, there's that. And, but this is the one case where I was with Jeffrey. Because it's just like, this guy right here. And the officer goes, unzips his pants. And then, you know, the Lord was like, not today. Wyatt already had to catch a fade in jail. So we can't do this to Jeffrey. So then, he gets a, on his scanner or whatever, receiver, whatever it's called, and they're like, do you have, what's his name, Jeffrey Cryer or something like that? It was like, yeah. And it was like, well, take him in. It's like, take him in? And so it's like, yeah. So they were saying, how long, how quickly? All right, 5 minutes. And so as soon as I heard the 5 minutes, I was like, all right, Jeffrey is safe. He is safe for now. Once he gets to that jail now, it's a whole nother story. So yeah, after that, but that officer was doing a lot. I mean, this conversation went on for a couple of minutes where it was just like, see, it's disgusting. You know where I'm from? Do you know what we do to people like you? And it's like, well, it basically sounds like where you're from, you would do people like Jeffrey. So then we get to the scene, annoying scenes where Quincy's sister, Quinn, Quincy Jr., Quinn, and Quincy. Not much brain cells for creativity, huh? So anyway, she's trying to figure out where her brother is, and essentially the thug tells her, well, you know, he has his phone with him, right? Well, Quincy, whenever we do jobs, he made sure to track us, so you can go and track him. And so they were like, how do I do that? And it's like, oh, I don't know, but you have to wait for this other guy to come back. So it's like, all right, go and wait for him. I really hate her. But the one thing I must say is, I believe her over these so-called thugs. I'm like, these are the cleanest, clean-cut thugs I've ever seen, hood thugs I've ever seen in my life. Okay, Tyler. So then we get to the scene with the DA, Jennifer, who, as we know, last episode was groping David, molesting him. And so this other judge, she's working with him because she has to get Wyatt his inheritance. And clearly, all she knows is what she sees in the file. So even though they know that Wyatt did some messed up stuff, it's like, you know, his father's really going to kill him. Jim's really going to kill him because he actually had him raped in jail. So that's what she's thinking right now. That Jim is such a crook. He's so evil. She hates him so much, even though she slept with him in the past. And maybe that's why she has the issue. That he would actually harm his son. But so they go and they get the paperwork signed so that Wyatt can get his inheritance. And of course he has to take a drug test, which, you know, he'll fail in normal pretenses because he's back to drinking. And I'll tell you what he's also back to doing towards the end. So War actually shows up to Benny's, what is it called? Benny's tow truck business because Benny needs help. And so War brings one of his, I don't know if he's a pimp and this is one of his hoes, but he brings her and she's just like, no, what do you want me to do? And he was like, get your ass. So it's like, Benjamin, whatever, it's tow truck, yeah, that's how I may help you. Can I take a message? So, you know, that was a funny little moment. But Benny's white friend or Italian friend or whatever he is, he also invited him too because he's like, I need help. You know, my business is paid for, it's paid off, and I really need your guys' help. And they don't like each other. For whatever reason, they don't like each other. And War and the other guy, and the white guy. But Benny's like, I need you guys. But Benny screws up because he unveils too much information. War doesn't know that Candice got so much money. I think War was thinking that Candice got like $500,000. So then she gave him either $50,000 to $100,000. And so they were straight. They were cool. But War finds out that Candice paid for Benny's house, her own house, and the tow yard, and that it costs like a couple $1,000,000 to do, like $4 million or so to do. And so Wars just has this look of, yo, Ben, where does Candice live? And I'm thinking to myself, Benjamin Young, why did you open your mouth and let War know where your sister was? I was really hoping that they had a fight. And no, but Benny wouldn't give that information. But, oh, Benny. Trusting and loyal to a fault. You knows the pattern. Anyone who's like that on this show pretty much gets screwed over. But anyway, Hannah is having difficulty because, as you know, she's pretty much out of money. She's renting this hotel, and they're like, yo, you have to get out by tomorrow, or the one more night, and that's all you have, type of thing. And she even offers up, she's like, I'm a maid, so maybe I could help out. It's like, no, we don't need any more help, thank you. Be gone by Monday. Checkout is 11:30 a.m. Thank you, bye. Okay, bye. So, little Quincy is sick. He's not feeling too well. Poor little thing. And War does say that little Quincy Jr. sick, but we don't know what it is yet. And War apparently is the only one that knows what it is. But of course, War's going to use that to his advantage, so he's not going to tell. So, we have Hannah doing her best to try and figure out, because no one knows that he's sick. He was at the hospital, and somehow they didn't catch it. So I'm like, what did they do there? What type of test did they do? Did he stumble into some drugs and they keep giving him more so that he doesn't have the sweats or go through withdrawal? Because, you know, they are messed up over there. I wouldn't put it past them to do something like that to that poor baby. You saw how they whooped his ass. It was like 12 years a slave on his back. But anyway, we have Maggie and Landon. Maggie's happy because Landon went and plotted and gave the information in the picture about Veronica. And so the news is out and Landon's just like, you really gonna do this to her? You really gonna do this, period? Maggie, what's going on? What's wrong with you? And she's like, I don't see what the issue is. And so she goes to make sure, she's gonna go and make sure that David gets out. She's like, forget the rest of them. David is the one that needs to come out of jail. So we go back to this other... Oh, wow. She's in love with him and he will never accept her. But anyway, we have Jennifer the DA and one of the people that she actually placed at the jail. She calls her up and it's like, bling, bling, bling. Yo, girl, I need you to do me a favor. Yeah, so I need to get 3 cells together, 3 connecting cells together, and I need you to put the Harringtons and the Criers in cell C and cell A, and Jeffrey goes in cell B. And she's like, I don't know if I can do that. You know that the girls and boys must stay on separate sides. But she was just like, yeah, girl, I got you this job. I got you this job. So what's the problem? What's the problem? So after that, she was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, and she was like, I need you to do one more thing. You see this news article? Yeah, I need you to spread it out. But this was actually the girl, she went and told Jennifer about it. And she was like, oh, shit. She was like, oh, this is good. This is too good. So as a result, she decided, you know what? I'm going to use this on this trick. Veronica, you going down. So... I mean, she's evil. And at this time, Wyatt actually shows up at the jail. And Wyatt's probably... I'm sorry, not Wyatt. Jeffrey's probably happy that he's at the jail because at least he gets away from this cop. So we get to the scene with Wyatt and we get this... His name is Pete. And Pete basically has like... You know, from Shrek, and also if you were to think of the Game of Thrones where the Lancaster... The eldest Lancaster son has like that part in the middle, that center part, and the Prince Charming hairdo or whatever. So Pete's a drug dealer. Pete is a drug dealer and Wyatt gets his drugs from him. And essentially Wyatt doesn't have any money. So Pete's like, I can take credit cards. I don't care how much money you have coming in. You're going to have to give me something that I can use right now. Your parents are in jail. So why do you need the credit cards? They don't care. They won't do anything about it. And so then what ends up happening is Pete gives him this package of, I guess it's like make your own urine type of thing, clean urine. He'll heat it up so that he can go and pass the drug test so that he can get his $12 million inheritance. And Wyatt basically convinces Pete to go and he convinces Pete to actually go and give him, instead of, you know, like this little dime bag worth of cocaine or whatever it was, to give this like huge ass parcel. And he was like, all right, so you're going to do it with me? And Pete was like, hell yeah. I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, so this guy's a drug dealer and you're basically almost begging him for the drugs. And now you're going to let him use part of your product? Part of the product that you're paying for? Oh my god, I'm like, what world is this? So anyway, one of the last scenes we get to is when they go back in jail and the newspaper comes and Catherine sees it and is like, Veronica, are you having an affair? And Veronica's just like, what are you talking about? And then she sees the newspaper and then she blows up on Catherine. This is where I was like, what? And she was like, Catherine, I don't want to talk about it right now. I don't want to talk about it right now. Oh, and you know, because Veronica's normally is the one that's like, Catherine, calm down. Catherine, calm down. Calm down, Catherine. Calm down, Catherine. Okay? Yeah. So when she was just like, don't try me right now, Catherine's like, okay. So I guess this is real. And so she was like, these walls are thin, so we're not going to talk about this in here. So then... Jim gets the paper as well, and he's basically talking to David, and David has no idea what he's talking about or why is he saying certain things. And so he's like, take a look. And you just see David break down, and it's just like, Jim, Jim is so upset and angry with Veronica that he's actually happy to see this, because I think that he's like, all right, David's finally going to do something about her. Finally going to do something about her. So the final scene is actually Quincy dies. Candice is like, screw you. You threatened me and you beat me up and you sold me out and all this stuff. So screw you. And so the last scene was actually War coming to her house. And she was trying to be coy with War because she was trying to hide the body. And War was like, you held me up? You had all that money, millions of dollars, and you gave me like 50K or 100K? Are you kidding me? And then he also strangled her too. I'm like, see, these hood street mother. That's why, like, we were rooting for War, even though we knew he was crooked as hell. And it was like, you can't trust none of them. You can't trust none of them. And so then, while he's strangling Candice, he sees Quincy's body. So that's how the episode actually ends. So next week looks good again, because we're going to see, it's just like everything unfolds. So that was it. Please let me know what you think. There was a lot of foolery in this episode and I appreciated all of it. Like, comment, subscribe. Come back next week.